Hi everyone on YouTube. This is the Moral Reform Chronicles. Today we will be talking about when it comes to having a conversation that goes like this: agreed to disagree. And also along with this subject, we will also be talking about a subject dealing with debating with strategy. But first we will go with agreeing to disagree. Now, to some of you, this is just actually more of having a regular conversation with somebody that disagrees with you and how to have a good conversation. But I'm not going to give too many details because I don't want to go off of too much. I want to make this as simple as possible. So, along with this, when it comes to the whole thing about having a conversation. In a conversation, whenever you and someone else talk, it's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay to have differing thoughts on things. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, the good thing about being able to have a conversation is the fact that you can talk at all. For an example, you have Christians within the church of different denominations. Some find it very hard to actually have a conversation with other people of different churches when it comes to God's Word and, sadly, doctrine. Now you're thinking, okay, we get another message. Not necessarily. What you're getting here with this is, see, you have the different denominations out there of people. They don't talk because either, one, they're scared of influence, or two, the problem with pride and discussions. People want it to be their way, they think their way is the right way, you name it. Well, I would say we all feel that way. But is it so much and too much to really ask that we have a normal conversation? Talk about why we feel or think the way we feel, why we feel it's right, even though we may disagree with someone over here or over there or anywhere? Is it that hard? Why do we make things so hard on ourselves? It's like, for an example, I can tell you about times where I've talked with people that, like in one discussion, there's this person, it took her and her husband both a little while to see that just because you disagree on stuff, that doesn't mean that necessarily that the whole topic is going to be bad or the conversation. At first, see, they don't like where I stand politically and who I support. But after a while, and me talking with them and them talking with me, and we found out we can get along just fine, I was like, oh, nice. But see, I built a friendship first. Because some people, if they think you're the pushy type and all this, just because you talk about something out loud, then they're just going to automatically think, oh, this person's a really terrible butt. And it's like, no, not the case. Some people just like loudly expressing things because maybe their voice carries. Mine is one that carries. No fun, because people tend to think that you're being negative or what, just because your voice carries. When my voice carries in a conversation or I'm trying to get over a loud machinery, it sounds negative. So, yikes for someone like me. But getting past that, my thoughts I wanted to share on this is it's okay to disagree. And, like, for an example, I know someone at work, we disagree heavily on the thing of abortion. But you know what? I'm hearing her side of it, and she's hearing my side of it. We disagree very much so, and on birth control. Big time. But we don't argue. We actually enjoy hearing each other out. Which again goes to agree to disagree. simple. Some people, it's not very simple, so don't point a finger and don't judge. Save yourself some heartache. And so then, when it comes to that, that's that simple part of agree to disagree. Don't always try to be the one who's right or the one who's just taking all over the conversation. No, no, no. Bad idea. Now we move on to debating with strategy. You see, one reason I bring up debating is because, see, if you watch Fox News or you watch CNN, any of these, you'll notice we have a problem, folks. That problem is we personally and sadly can't grasp or understand why it's okay to debate without getting loud. It's okay to debate without getting negative. It's okay to debate and it still be a regular conversation, even though it really kind of varies in how the topic and subject goes and who talks to who and what. But you see, the issue in this matter is on TV, sadly, a lot of people are bullying each other. And what ends up happening in this day and age, sadly, that we're seeing more often than not is we have too many people acting just like those on TV that they themselves don't like. Here's my thoughts. Are you kidding me? That's what I think. We say, oh no, we're nothing like them, blah blah blah, and we go through all this mumbo jumbo that doesn't get us anywhere, and we're still acting like them. Millennials, I will say you're some of the most guilty of our generation. There's nothing wrong with having, again, just like agree to disagree. It's okay to disagree. And just like with debating with strategy, express your thoughts. But here's where I add in the extra now for the strategy. Anytime, see, well, one of the main topics today is racism. I agree, racism is bad. See, if you notice, when it comes to racism, the subject matter and the debatable subject has become, sadly, see, they don't really go back to the 1900s very much. They do off and on. So they go on to the next subject to tackle, one that people don't study enough. The 1800s and some of the 1700s. But no, we're not going to go with 1700s because it's too far back. Okay, sure, why not? So then we go on to the next thing, which is really what we're still talking about, the 1800s. And because of all this, I'm reading a book, and I actually have got other books that I'm going to get to as time goes on. Right now, I'm a very slow reader, but I love to gain knowledge. I love to gain understanding in things. I'm tired of all the gossip, all the spreading of lies and different things that are going around this day and age. So instead of just being one who does all this talk, but doesn't have the facts or the evidence to go with it, I have some, but not enough. We all have some from school, but did the school teach us truly, correctly, or anything? That is up for question. And also up for the old history books. This here, folks, the word is backwards, and so is the guy's name. The book here is Roots, written by Alex Haley. The book was originally written this is going into the fact part of this thing, so bear with me, please. This book goes into the whole thing about the blacks in Africa and how many of them were kidnapped. And this book here is very much an emotionally driven book. The author himself wrote this book with talking about his family and the history of different things. But when he originally went into it, he was just getting stuff from people here and there in America of his family. Because back then, as he was writing this, he people for the longest time before this book was made always did things, conversations, and talk about stuff and spread it to the next generation. Well, Mr. Alex Haley, if I'm correct, and I hope that I am, but if I'm not, please feel free in the comments to correct me. Mr. Alex Haley knew that there was coming a time when, and it doesn't say this in there, I'm just throwing this out, that there will be a time where people will literally not say things from one generation to the next, spreading on the stuff, letting it go forward. So the facts of things, the history of things, of the family, and all this other stuff. People used to actually remember things because it was a part of that the families back then, how people expressed things, and the kids knew it, and the more things kept on happening, the more you had to remember. But over time, he knew that there's going to come a time where we won't always remember stuff. So as this goes on, Mr. Alex Haley decided to do something interesting I would say most authors probably don't do very often. He decided to go to his ancestral home, I call it. You know, ancestor and stuff. But like where they came from, Africa. So he goes down there, he gets a lot of those same kind of stories, plus some. So, because he wanted to learn more, he did a lot of writing, and he took a lot what was told to him, wrote it down. And actually, from what I've read in this book, there's actually some names in there you'll know from American history, like the war with, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. I want to say it's the war with, I don't know if it's England or Britain or what, but they're wearing the red. Um, I can't think of the right word now, but the red clothing and stuff, and all that stuff. So, anyways, and General Cornwallis is mentioned, and there are others that are mentioned, and actually an interesting thing that happened back then. Actually, I better just continue. I'm sorry, I almost went on a rabbit trail there, but what I'm originally trying to say is, know your facts. And all you do, know your facts. Know stuff. Have the evidence available. People, if we want to win in debates, we must have therefore knowledge that will help us to grow in our knowledge of things, because when we come across any individual who is the blabbering type, I call it, they don't have enough facts for nothing. They're just silly goofballs. And that's not to be rude, but I'm the type of guy, I call it out exactly what it is. There are other things I could say, but I prefer not to go that far, because then it's more disrespectful at that point and very rude. So, and what I'm saying is, people, if you want to debate with the strategy, debate always with facts, nothing else. Because if you try, you will fail, and you will look funny to the whole world, while your enemy, at least the other debater, that is, not the enemy so much, but the other debater, who is the blabbering mouth, the one who, nowadays, that is, wants to make you look really terrible, will get all the attention. But the way to win a debate, do it kindly. Speak with character and integrity and kindness. Treat them like they are somebody else, even like they are another person, but do it in a way where you're kind. Leave them with, they can't say nothing bad of you, and if they do try, they're going to make themselves look bad because they've lied. And the facts will be there, because people will have watched, or people will have heard, or something. Make sure that if you can do something good with character and integrity and a good heart, that they have no bad word to say against you. that's my thoughts today on first one that I said earlier, agree to disagree, and that it's never wrong to have different opinions. And then what we just got done with, just finished, is debate with strategy. So as we finish this up, as we are at the end actually, please remember to take with you, read books, gain knowledge, learn, educate yourself. For with knowledge comes power. And if we use that power and that knowledge wisely, we can do great things together. Have a great night, everyone. And to those watching, also from different parts of the world, if you are, have a great day.